Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to talk all about Kamala Harris. And if we have time, we will get on Tiffany Henyard. I have parent teachers conference today, so I can't stay too long. I might get back online to talk about Tiffany Henyard. If not, I'll do a special streaming tomorrow afternoon to give you guys what I've came up with in regards to Tiffany Henyard. Okay, so in regards to Kamala Harris, there's some new information about her heritage. Bombshell information. Kamala Harris, I think we could just say, I don't even know if we want to call her a chameleon. We probably just want to call her a pathological liar at this point. Okay. You might get mad at that word for referring to your black leader. I know some people come in this stream because they gun ho on Kamala Harris, but just face the facts. The things that that's been covered. Kamala Harris is a pathological liar, and it's baffling to me that the mainstream media is not picking up this news. And some of the things that we know that was posted yesterday on a New York Post, I think New York Times picked it up and New York Post picked up a story in regards to Kamala Harris, which I'm going to share with you today. These are in political career-ending mistakes. I don't know, I guess atrocities, things, allegations that they're saying. Well, they're not allegations. It was found that these allegations are true. So anyway, that we're going to talk about it, and you guys stay tuned. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Noble Young in the building. What is good? Justin Thompson in the building. What is good? Celeste Hodges tuning in from Texas. What is good? Kennard the DJ. What is good? Carrington from tuning in from Waycross, Georgia. What is good? Paula Zielinski tuning in from X. It's always great to see you on other platforms. Thank you for tuning in. Anger Mismanagement tuning in from Gary. Lucky Ducky, haven't seen you in a while, but thank you for tuning in. Beautiful fall Thursday to everyone. Glad to be able to join the live stream. I'm glad you joined as well. Anthony Chaparro, what up from Northern California? What up? Oh, Shanita is in the building. Hey, drop by to give a like. Have a great day. Looking cute. Thank you. If you guys are not tuned in to my other podcast, my other channel is Chawanne Burns 2.0. Go give it a subscribe. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My podcast is called Unpopular Opinion, and my co-host is Miss Super Producer. We have Jaws. Hey, Chawanne from Long Island. Thank you for tuning in, Jaws. Carrington is saying she's a pathological liar and a chronological liar, period. That is funny. Sandy Rodriguez. Sandy, is always great to see you. Kamala's aunt from Canada. She's a doctor. She says she doesn't have any comments of her running for president. Silence it tells a story when someone is remaining silent, and they're your relative. Well, they either don't agree with your policies or they just don't like you, period, as a relative. Or maybe they just want to stay out of it. We'll just say that. Maybe they just want to stay out of it, stay out the limelight. Let's see. James Hooks is in the building. I just want to tell you, you are so fine. Well, thank you, James. I really appreciate you as well. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the comments. You guys remember to subscribe, like, and share this video. we are going to get into it. The first story I want to share with you in regards to Kamala Harris is this story. And actually, this story was picked up by the New York Post back in October the 14th. And I guess nobody wants to cover it. I don't know. It's really kind of weird to me that nobody wants to cover this story. And this is a career-ending story for a president. Joe Biden plagiarized, I think, back in the 80s. Joe Biden ran for presidency like all the time. Every year he's running for president until he became president. Okay, he didn't, run against Obama because he was the vice president, but it was like hey, this is a segue into the presidency. And lo and behold, he didn't get elected. Then he decided to run for presidency against Donald Trump, and then he won after Donald Trump's term. Anyway, when I was getting at Joe Biden, I remember seeing a video a long time ago, and the lady said, "Oh yeah, I can never vote for him because he." They didn't use the word plagiarize. He just is not truthful. So we have Kamala Harris. Now this is just one of the claims. Okay, Kamala Harris was accused of plagiarizing a book that she co-authored back in 2009. It was called Criminal Reform. This book was called A Career Prosecutor Plan to Make Us Safer, Smart on Crime. Can we say Kamala Harris is not on the smart side? Okay. We're going to go through, and I don't know if I'm going to view that part of Candance Owens' video, but when she was talking, you guys got to go to the replay on my other live stream when Candance Owens was talking about to Judge Joe Brown, and Candance Owens said, in her research, she found that Kamala Harris is relatives of the Bush family. Is that what she said, or Joe Biden? But we could say, these people. Nobody ever says, "Oh, Bush is a smart person." No, nobody ever says that. The Bush family, like if you look at Jeb Bush and the George Bushes, you kind of like, oh, they're kind of goofy. Like you don't see, oh, that's a sharp tool in the shed. Even with Joe Biden is more of a more intelligent than Kamala Harris. But even with Kamala Harris, you don't get to say, oh, Kamala Harris, she's a sharp cookie. Now, I thought she was. I really thought she was because when she questioned the guy that was going for the Supreme Court justice, it was Donald Trump appointee. When she questioned that, she was like really sharp. Then I had to think about it. Well, she has aides and other people to write stuff for her and look up stuff for her. So, she has 2 to 3 aides. So they're able to do her research and formulate the questions to make her look in such a way that she is on point and she's intelligent and she is tough on crime. But we could truly say Kamala Harris, number 1, is lazy. And number 2, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay, so it is in each instance, the purported source materials predates Harris' book publication date. They're saying that the book that she published, they found out that she plagiarized verbatim the Bureau of Justice Institute report from 2000 and Urban Institute report from 2004. And John Jay College of Criminal Justice press release describing a 2007 award. And it says at least 2 of the instances, the sources of the original verbiage is cited in footnotes. However, quotation marks are not around the apparently copied words. In other instances, passages appear to be wholly uncredited, such as from the Urban Institute report. And It says, oh gosh, Harris ghostwrited, told the Post over the phone shortly after allegations published. Did she really ghostwrite this book in 2009? I'm not for sure, but you think you will hire someone that if they are a ghostwriter, they're familiar maybe with the law, of course, some type of lawyer that is a writer, and then someone that is known for ghostwriting and not plagiarism. Okay, you had the money to pay somebody good money, and then you're in California. So in California, there's a lot of talent out there that you probably could find a ghostwriter for you. Matter of fact, I was looking into creating a documentary, and I was searching online who could not a documentary, like a TV series, and I was researching online who could help me write this, because I'm not a seasoned writer. And I found this guy, and this guy was from California. Okay, so they have plenty of artists and people that's dedicated to that craft of ghostwriting. Why would they ghostwrite or plagiarize somebody else's stuff? You think they would, if I was Kamala, okay, I would put like, yeah, this, don't ever use this person. They're plagiarizing books, But this is something Kamala Harris doesn't have a problem with, because we know the truth or the untold story, that books that she published about her life, her memoir. We know that she has fake pictures of people that just plucked from the plantation, this farm or this plantation that her family owned. And she posed that these are her parents or her grandmother and great grandmother, and they're not. Okay, so she doesn't have a problem with this. So not only that, Kamala Harris plagiarized this 2009 book, we also have Kamala Harris accused of plagiarizing again. This time for fabricating a sex crime and cheating off of former AG's notes. Verbatim. They said verbatim. Okay. It says, in this new claims of plagiarism emerged Tuesday against Vice President Kamala Harris, with allegations included that she fabricated a story about sex trafficking and cribbed the work of other prosecutors, a judge, and even Wikipedia to draft state reports on crime. Harris, 60, seems to have invented details of a sex case out of a whole cloth and taken sentences directly from a published work by a former California attorney, General Bill Lockyer. And it says this allegations were first reported on Washington Free Beacon. Now, this came out yesterday. I think yesterday, right? No, the 22nd. So 3 days ago. 22nd. Have you heard any of this plagiarism, Kamala plagiarizing, in the news? This is how this is why you shouldn't trust mainstream media. They're not even going to cover this. Yesterday, Kamala Harris gave a town hall meeting covered under CNN. They gathered undecided voters under this one roof, and they picked out questions of people. Of course, they had to read the questions to make sure this is a question she can answer, per se. Scripted questions, right? And I'm looking for the interview, the whole interview, and CNN has not published the whole interview. They're only publishing the parts where Kamala Harris looks halfway intelligent. This is crazy, you guys. This is, and remember I said in my last live stream, Kamala Harris is like the literal Manchurian candidate. They're trying to build a president, fabricate a president, and force it to the American people. They're trying to force you to vote for Kamala and take out all the bad, whitewash Kamala, make her black, make her born from the middle class so she could struggle just like everybody else, and she lied on that debate stage saying, and she told Joe Biden, I was one of those people that you was trying to segregate off the bus. Well, Judge Joe Brown and other people that know how to read knew that segregation happened way prior to you going to school. Okay, so they're trying to make Kamala, build the bear Kamala, make her look like, oh, she's struggled. She with the struggle. She from the streets. She struggled just like us. And she has not, okay? She is from a family of slave owners, okay? And we're going to reveal that it's kind of, and I don't know why they're trying to take her other heritage out, but I can only speculate, and I'm going to get into that once I get into Candance Owens' video. Okay, and it says in 2012 report on human trafficking Harris issued while a California attorney general, she cited a fictional example of the type of call received by the National Human Trafficking Hotline as a bona fide case that had occurred. Does this, this doesn't sound like shocking to me. Remember, she was on Call Your Daddy podcast, and she was saying that just imagine a woman on the plane, and she has to travel by herself, and she has to go to the next state over, and she has to sit next to a stranger on the plane to get reproductive health. Okay, you describe traveling, which is not abnormal event. You know what? You're trying to make an abnormal event of abortion normal, and then you're trying to make a normal event abnormal as traveling. Is this weird? Is this weird? My son said yes. He's listening to me. He said, yeah, this is totally weird. But this is not a surprise that she's presenting a fake case as a bona fide case. You have a wild imagination, Kamala. Okay, why can't you just go back into research and look up cases? You talk about prosecuting transnational organizations on sex trafficking and drug trafficking. I thought you had that experience. If you had that experience, you could just pluck a case that you prosecuted, right? But no, this is not Kamala. Kamala wants you to believe that, these fictional things to happen. And this is why she's very knowledgeable and she has all this experience, and she does not. Remember, and you guys, I keep on saying remember. That's why you should tune into my live stream, so I won't have to say remember. Remember, I was saying, hey, somebody also needs to look up how many criminal cases Kamala Harris has tried. And that she's always claiming she's prosecuted transnational organizations. That's what her talking point is. It wouldn't be surprising to me that Kamala Harris hasn't did nothing. I believe I came across the tape, and I played it on my live stream. And when she was running for DA, the guy that was running against her, he prosecuted over 500. And he called Kamala out, saying, you told people that you prosecuted so many cases and you lied. And she still won that election, by the way. And you lied. Okay, she lied about the number of people that she prosecuted. She tripled the number that she prosecuted. I think at the time she only prosecuted 50, and she was claiming that she prosecuted 200 or 300. Really, why do you have to lie about that? So we're talking about this what is it? This woman that is a pathological liar. And she lies all the time. The nonprofit in charge of the hotline, Polaris Project, has posted the exact same case details in June of that year as representative of the types of calls it received. With different names, location, and other identifying information. The example was meant for informational purposes only, according to our archive web page. But Harris copied the example verbatim into the state report, keeping the alias Kelly of the woman who was being trafficked, but shifting the venue from D.C. to her native San Francisco. Put a 1 in the chat if you were voting for Kamala Harris and you still voting for Kamala Harris. I just want to know. I just want to know. That does not deter you from voting for Kamala Harris. Some people might say, oh, she doesn't have 34 felonies. Okay, I want you to look to the left. If you got a baby daddy, does he have a felony? Is he a criminal? I'm not saying all men are criminal or black men are criminal, but you're trying to act like Donald Trump is a stain, a person that is a threat to the United States, a threat to, people. But you have this woman lying to you over and over and over again. And you're saying that you still going to vote for her. And I'm talking to the individuals that always come in my chat and say, oh, Chawanne, you're cooning. Hope you got enough money. I hope they paid you enough money. Well, you don't get really that much money from streams. You get like $1 or $2, maybe 10, maybe 10. Maybe $10. So I'm not getting paid for this messaging. Donald Trump didn't hire me. The Republican Party didn't hire me. This is based off of what I feel. Okay. So I'm telling you, how can you vote for a person that lies and lies and lies and lies again? Publish stuff and lies again. They actually published a book, several books, and lied on it about their whole career. The 2012 report also used a nearly identical paragraph to a Wikipedia entry on California's Victim Compensation Board. Another report put out in 2011 on organized crime the previous year contained messages that were exact matches for portions of Lockyer's report on the same subject 6 years earlier. And this is I don't know who this guy is. This is guy. Harris' words in April 24 hearing were nearly identical to the testimony given 2 months prior by Republican Winnebago County, Illinois prosecutor Paul Logge. In 2014, Harris apparently stole from the New York Court of Claims of Albany County Superior Court Judge Roger McDonnell for a report on transnational gangs. It says a recent polling has shown that Harris is seen as far more honest than her Republican opponent, former Donald Trump, really. But copycat claims on top of the earlier plagiarism allegation is sure to test the public image. They dubbed her as the chameleon. That's what Trump dubbed her as. I wouldn't even call her a chameleon. That's too nice of a name. Something's wrong with her in her brain. She's like a pathological liar. I mean, what other attributes comes with a pathological liar? I mean, you gotta be, something's wrong with you. And her dad is like that too. Her dad, we're gonna find that out. Her dad is similar to, well, her dad, fruit doesn't fall from the tree. Her dad, and we don't know, her mom passed away, so we don't know how her mom was, but her dad was a pathological liar. He conjured up this whole story about these fake people, and they're actually, I don't think they were fake. I think there were people that were on the plantation. Okay, the people that were on the plantation, her dad stole the people's lives and said, "Oh, this is my family," and I guess just to hide of who he was as an individual. He did this while Kamala was young. Kamala, I don't know if he taught her how to do this, but she did it. She did the same thing. Now this is let me just go back to the other video that I want to show you. Okay, this is off of Kamala Harris, and this is episode 85. Now, we already know that Kamala Harris is
she going to say?
Kamala Harris' barrel grandmother. Okay, let me see if I can find that picture right quick. If they put it up here. Let me go to my X file. Now we know Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, the grandmother that she put in her book, is actually not her grandmother. Okay, this is actually, they, at the time Candance Owens described it. Oh, she just plucked this woman out the sky. But we just think it's the help. Okay, I think it's the help. Candance Owens think it's the help, but she plucked this woman from the fields and said, "Hey, this is my grandmother," and she just tried to make sure that this mother looked of a black descent. Okay, so Jamaican. They're on the Jamaican island, so she's trying to come across that her mother is Jamaican. But however, Candance Owens' mother is really not Jamaican. Okay, they revealed that this is not her at all. And we kind of found that out. We know it's not her, but we didn't know what she looked like. Let me see if I can find her picture. Now, if you guys are not following me on X, Kamala Harris' grandmother. Okay, so this picture right here, you see Kamala Harris' grandmother. Excuse me. You see Kamala Harris' grandmother, and she said her name is Beryl. Beryl, I think it was last name Finnegan, but whatever the name is. So we found that Kamala Harris' grandmother actually passed away before Kamala Harris was born. So we know it wasn't her. So now we're like, there's a big question mark. Okay, so if this is not her grandmother, who is her grandmother? So this episode is basically revealing that now we know what Kamala Harris' grandmother supposedly looked like, because Kamala Harris found someone reached out to her. She has her own YouTube channel, and someone reached out to Candance and said, "Hey, I know a friend of a family that was really close to the family." And this is where we pick up at. And it's on the title of this Candance Owens video. It's called "Kamala Family Friend Confirms Race Hoax." You guys put in the chat, and I want to make sure that you could hear this video.
Not for any particular reason. I just literally.
Oh, my bad. I always play it on 2 speed because I'm trying to get to the. When I'm doing my research, I try to get to the juicy stuff.
Hadn't gotten around to it as I've been collecting all of this evidence to present to the public on Kamala's family and looking into Enid and looking into Kenneth. So very interesting. Again, sounds like this barrel had a lot of money. It's just not giving the person that is pictured in Kamala's book. Now, of course, naturally, Kamala Harris then comes up in this conversation. And Dorothy keeps this same positive energy. She's very positive, right? She has a spirit about her. She has this fond memory. Delightful. She's delightful in her approach about Beryl. And she's delightful in her approach about Kamala and Kamala's features. She really likes Kamala's facial features. I'll tell you why. Take a listen.
Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Beryl, by the way, I see Vice President Harris on the box. And I sit up straight and I think, my God, she looks so much like Miss Beryl. Her facial features, the only thing is Miss Beryl was much smaller in stature, but
Well, okay, if Miss Beryl, because Kamala is very fair-skinned.
right.
Was Beryl fair-skinned?
Yes, she was.
She was?
She was. She was fair-skinned.
She was? Okay.
Yes, she was very fair-skinned
Oh,
with black hair.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
So she was so fair-skinned that now that I'm older and I can spot people by their skin coloring, etc., for me, I would say there was something Irish there.
How interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say somewhere along the line she would have had ancestors that were Irish. Yes.
Actually, can I show you a photograph
Of course.
of an old lady?
Yes.
And some people speculate
Yeah.
that this is Miss Beryl.
Right.
So, sorry, bear
That's
with me.
okay.
I am so on technological,
Okay.
it's just pathetic.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Nah, that's not Miss Beryl.
That's not Miss
That's
Beryl.
definitely not Miss Beryl.
Okay.
That's not Miss Beryl.
So,
And-
let me just show you.
Yeah.
So,
That is not Miss Beryl.
That's not Miss Beryl.
Definitely not Miss Beryl.
okay.
And I know what she looks like. I couldn't have been in a dream, and she definitely did not look like that.
There's another person, but could that be Miss Beryl?
No, that's not
That's
Miss
not
Beryl.
Miss Beryl
That's not
either.
Miss Beryl either.
Okay.
Don't know who that is.
Okay.
That's not Miss Beryl. That ain't Miss Beryl. You know, as you were describing the fair skin and looking like Kamala, I was thinking this can't be the Miss Beryl grandma that's in Kamala's book. And clearly you see Lady C's going, wait, fair skin? What? Maybe is this? Nope, that's not Miss Beryl. I didn't dream. That's not Miss Beryl. Yeah, that sounds about right. You're saying Irish. And that's funny because Judge Joe Brown had a very distinct memory that Donald Harris told him that he was Irish and Hindu. And things are starting to add up, not in Kamala Harris's favor. And I don't know what to say here, ladies and gentlemen, other than I am truly, untypically speechless. I don't think I possess within me the adequate vocabulary to discuss my distaste for a woman who borrowed a black person.
You borrowed a black person. You just plucked the black person off your plantation and said, hey, look at my grandmama. Look at my grandmama. Number one, you lied about your grandmama being alive because Why even lie about that? That is so weird to me. Okay, your grandma, people pass away all the time. Everyone would say, or there's several people that have that experience. Yes, I never met my grandmother because by the time I was born, she was dead. Excuse me. What is wrong with that? I have that experience. My father's mother was dead before I was born. I never met her. What's wrong with that? It's nothing wrong with telling the truth. But no, you had to fabricate and pull out the sky and claim your blackness in 2009 so you will be able to win. I'm not for sure you would, galvanize the black people. You guys let me know. How can, or why would a person do such a despicable thing? It's disgusting.
For her autobiography, so that she could secure the black vote. Do you understand how fundamentally racist that is? Do you understand how despicable that is? I mean, you have to be the worst kind of political vermin to borrow a black person to put in your book to present to the public as your grandma, who definitively was not your white Irish grandma. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty despicable. I want to fast forward to when this woman was talking again.
She was similarly shocked, gobsmacked, as she put it. Take a listen.
And gobsmacked. Absolutely gobsmacked. And it then begs the question, did she seriously think she was going to be able to get away with this?
She did.
I mean, I know Candance Owens has been going hell for leather on this. And Candance Owens is clearly black. So this is not about anti-blackness. Because, as you could see, Dorothy is not white. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm just stunned that any ambitious politician would present as a grandparent of hers, and Kamala Harris is very fair-skinned. Whether she calls herself black or brown, she's still fair-skinned. But she definitely has black blood. So to that extent, it's not anything artificial. What does seem to be extraordinary is the creation of a black grandmother when her grandmother was of color but wasn't black. And she just, did she get somebody off the street and pop them in the photograph? Was it a helper? Who was this woman? I mean, it boggles the imagination.
Don't you worry. Leave it with me, Lady C. From one Lady C to another, I'm going to get to the bottom of who that woman is in the picture, and I'm going to get to the bottom of who the Irish Beryl actually is, because here's what happens now. Blood is in the water, my friends, okay?
So, she goes on and talk about how she's going to do her, due diligence and more research. Then she dropped this episode yesterday. Candance Owens dropped this episode yesterday, and it's kind of crazy, you guys. I'm not for sure. Now, there was an episode between this episode that I'm going to play, but the episode before this revealed that some of the people under or Kamala Harris bloodline end up being Jewish people. Okay, so she is from Jewish descent. One side of her family, we know her mother's side of her family, but Donald Harris, which is Kamala Harris' dad, he tried to, I guess, blackwash his heritage. He didn't want anybody to know about his Jewish heritage. Not for sure why you would try to hide that. Maybe because they own slaves. I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure why you would try to hide that part of your heritage. But so that was revealed. And if you want to go back to that episode, you can just go to Candance Owens. And I think that was episode either 87 or something like that. But anyway, this is episode 89, where Candance Owens reveals that, we found out that Beryl, they basically stole the identity of the people that were on the plantations. And I'm saying Donald Harris did this. And then Kamala Harris just decided to keep up with the lie, because Donald Harris was trying to be ambiguous in his he written an article, and he was trying to be ambiguous about his heritage and, his family. But Kamala Harris took the lie and published it in a book, which is totally baffling to me. This is episode 89.
Nutrition of this piece that never quite even made sense to me, by the way. The biggest thing that I thought was a glaring error of some description was the fact that he says that Iris was née Finnegan, that she was formerly Finnegan, implying that she then became Iris Christie because she says that she was married to Mr. Christie. I think we can reasonably assume that within this time frame, okay, this isn't like the woke United States 2024, men were not taking the surnames of women, right? So if he's being called Mr. Christie, it's likely not because he is taking her surname. And I thought that was very strange that he wrote née Finnegan, because it would imply that she was born Finnegan. And we know that that wasn't accurate because we have Beryl's birth certificate. Okay, so we have Iris's daughter, Beryl's grandma Beryl, birth certificate, and it lists Iris Finnegan, but it says that her name is formerly Allen. Okay, so he should have written Iris née Allen as the mother. So that was always something that I just had in my head as a strange question mark. We're showing you that birth certificate right now.
And I want to preface this, what she's talking about is the essay Donald Harris wrote about, his family, his fond memories of Miss Christie and all these other fake people. Okay. I time constraint, so that's why I didn't play that part. But just go back to that episode and you can view the whole episode on Candance Owens.
There we have, just as he listed, in Inverness, St. Anne, born in 1917. We have Beryl Magdalene, a female, and the mother is Iris Finnegan, formerly Allen, listed as a seamstress. Okay. So parking that aside, another thing that he gives us, he writes that she lived to the grand old age of 93. So I just went in my head, okay, how many people with the name Iris, Finnegan, Christie, whatever it is, have lived that long in that particular area in this time frame? We've got to be able to limit this down to just a few irises, maybe even just one iris. People just don't live into their 90s, right? So I was looking for a woman that was born around 1888 and lived until the 1980s with the surnames Christie or Finnegan, okay? Lo and behold, and by the way, I want to be clear, this is off by 2 years. But I was always comfortable with the idea that he may have had her birth year wrong or her death year wrong, because on Jamaican Global Online, they actually had to update this piece twice because Donald had the wrong death date and his wrong age dates for when Christiana Brown died. Quite strange, because when you're writing a piece, you can sit down and do the math. But I know that they had to adjust this piece a few times because of wrong dates for his grandparents. So lo and behold, I come across on Ancestry.com this entry of an Iris Christie. I'm going to show you this right now. Look at this. An Iris Christie, a female, death age 97, died in Kingston, Jamaica. Born, death date is in 1983, which puts her birth date at 1886. And it tells us that her spouse is Claudius Christie. I said, okay, like there could be another woman that lived this long with the exact same name around the exact same area. Let me see if I can locate a death certificate for this Miss Iris Christie. And we were, in fact, able to locate a death certificate. So let's pull that up here. All right, so we're getting a little more information here. We have this Iris Christie. It tells us that she died of respiratory failure. Okay, check. It tells us that she was married. Okay, check. It tells us that she lived to the ripe old age of 97. Now, he says 93 or 94, but okay, that doesn't put me off at all. Again, she was quite old, and he would have been quite young, and he maybe didn't have that correct. Tells us the birthplace is St. Anne. I'm feeling really good about this, and I'm going, okay, like, let's maybe look into Claudius Christie. Now, of course, what's missing here is we don't have any indication that her name was formerly Finnegan or at all Finnegan, so we're putting this in the maybe pile until we came across something else that was incredibly interesting. Just give me 30 seconds to toss this to one of our advertisers, and I'm going to tell you what that is. I want to let you guys know third order. If you aren't sure where to start, you can take. Weren't that many of them within this time frame. We only stumbled upon two, and these two were clearly related. Okay, so we have a Claudius Christie, who we now know is married to an Iris Christie, and this is the screenshot that instantly came up that made me go, oh! Okay, look at this screenshot from Ancestry.com. Claudius E. Christie, and then you see it says relative S.S. Finnegan. Oh, but look at the birth. We have the birth in Jamaica, Enentown, St. Anne. Okay. Things are happening here. So pull that back up. So we know that this man was married to Iris, and for whatever reason, this document, and you can see we're going to get into a U.S. passenger list, a ship that is going to New Orleans. Like, what are we talking about here? And from Enentown, like, now I'm like, okay, we're getting real specific here. Enentown, Iris, Mr. Christie. You're not going to convince me we don't have the right Mr. Christie here. But I said, right. let's take a look and see what we can come up with. Okay, this is just crazy. So let's take a look at this document, this ship manifest document, and see if anything jumps out at us. Okay. So just to be clear, when you're seeing that SS Finnegan, what happens is that when people are on Ancestry, they are trying to read this old script and they're writing whatever they think that it says, or doing their best to write what they think that it says, to decipher what it is that people are writing. And obviously, this is quite old. This is from 1943. And we have this ship, again, the David C. Shanks ship. Now, this instantly flagged in my head because I remember that Lawford Newland. Remember that name when we found a marriage certificate between a Beryl and a Lawford Newland, and Lawford, for whatever reason, was going for agricultural work into New Orleans. And I was going, this doesn't make any sense. Beryl was supposed to have money, and we know Beryl had money because her son was rolling around. Her son Kenneth has been rolling around in a motorcycle, and Dorothy fondly remembers that, remembers them running the store. So that was, I'm already like, okay, now we have Mr. Christie on the same exact ship, headed to the same exact place, presumably also for agricultural work. So it's 2 pages. I'm going to give you first the bird's eye view of page 1 of this manifest, and then we'll cut over here to page 2, and now we're going to do a close-up of what it says, okay? So there you can see that we have 2 Claudius Christies, and they are traveling together, and it says Claudius Christie 33. That's the age. Claudius Christie, 24. And then you can see in the further column that it lets us know, yes, he is from Enon St. Anne, Jamaica. Okay. Now, if we get to that second page, and this is exactly how we did it today too, I went, okay, that person wrote S.S. Finnegan, but I don't see S.S. Finnegan, right? I see maybe J.J. Finnegan. I asked Mark, my director, he's like, yeah, no, I see J.J. That I don't think of there's anybody that makes an S like that in cursive. So we're going, okay, interesting. But actually what I find more interesting is that next to it, in parentheses, it says what I believed was friend. I'm going, wait a second. This guy is married, okay? He's married to Iris. This shouldn't be a friend of his. This should be some sort of a relative.
I know she's everywhere. Well, not really everywhere, but follow her. Now, Donald Harris said Miss Christie is his grandmother. I think that's what he was claiming, his grandmother or his mother. Now, this Iris Finnegan is supposed to be, we found out, her great-grandmother, Kamala Harris' grandmother. Okay? Now, Beryl is basically a lie. That basically a lie. Take that out of your head. But Christie, Claudius Christie, they're claiming that this is their relatives. We already know Finnegan is the person that we're looking for. The S.S. Christie, S.S. Finnegan is the guy that she married to. But they noted that this is her friend on this shipping manifest.
We again see Enon St. Anne, Jamaica, and beneath it, I can't make out who his father is. Looks to me to say like Jamie Christie might be the father, but I'm going, why would J.J. Finnegan, and maybe I'm just reading the cursive wrong, be listed as a friend? And then I said, wait, what is this column in general? Like, what is this column asking for them to fill out? And here's what the top of that column says. It says the name and complete address of the nearest relative or friend in the country whence the alien came, or if none there, then in the country of which a citizen or subject. So he has put down that he's got a friend. I don't know if this is like to vouch for, is just writing down a friend would be this JJSSTT. We don't really know.
Claudius Christie is writing down, these two Christie people are writing down that J.J. Finnegan is the friend in Jamaica. I guess they didn't know anybody in the United States. We already know Kamala Harris came from slave owners. Donald Harris put that in his, I guess, his paper, his article. He already said, he claimed that his mother operated a farm, but they owned the farm. They were like, I don't know, business partners or part owner of a farm, a sugarcane farm. So he's claiming that these Christie people is actually his biological folks. Okay? Follow this.
But we've got a Finnegan friend, and this math is not mathing. Furthermore, on this document, this Mr. Christie is listed as a black Negro. Now, why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because Donald Harris has provided us with a photo of his wife, Miss Iris Christie. Okay? Miss Iris, is very much black, very, very dark-skinned woman that is holding Kamala Harris. And now we are being informed by the ship manifest, that her husband was also a black Negro. And I am not saying that I am a geneticist. I am not saying that I am 23andMe, but I've been around. I've been around enough to know that two black Negroes cannot produce a white Norma or an Irish-looking Beryl.
Oh, I forgot, I didn't tell you guys. Norma is the sister of Iris. And if you look at the manifest, some of the birth certificates, they list them as Irish. That's their, I guess, descent.
So what the heck is going on here? Also, just like I said about Lawford Newland and Burial, typically people who own and operate farms and are operating stores are not out here on ships to America looking to pick up work, agricultural work with their sons or their relatives. So I said, can we find Claudius's birth certificate? Okay, can we find Claudius? Maybe Claudius had money, I don't know, and then gave it to his wife, and then she gave it to Beryl. Who is this Claudius Christie? And here's what we came up with. Yeah, here's Claudius's birth certificate. Claudius was born in 1895, so that makes sense, having married Iris. And it tells us that his mother's name is Emily Christie and that she was a laborer. Gosh, so many laborers? Where is all of this money coming from? You guys, what are we to make of this? I will tell you what I have made of this. I think I was correct from day one, okay? What they have done is they have merged identities, okay? I very much believe on the basis of what Donald wrote in his piece that he knew the identity of the people who worked on the farm. He did. He tells you. He ran around. They told him the stories. Okay. So he knew these workers. He knew these agricultural workers. And there's no doubt in my mind that he had a real relationship with them. Such a real relationship that I believe that Donald Harris merged the identity of the people who worked on the farm and the people who owned it. I believe the people who owned that farm are his true grandparents. Okay. I think Kamala's real great-grandmother was Ora Iris Allen, okay? Not Nay Finnegan. I believe it is Nay Allen, that she was Ora Allen. And I know and now believe that he told the truth about her love of preaching the Bible, because now that I had that in my mind, I said, let me just look up Ora Allen. Let me look up Ora Allen. We're looking up Ora, Christie, look at all this stuff. What about just Ora Allen? And would you believe that we were able to stumble upon an Iris Allen multiple times in the Kingston Gleaner as an evangelist for the New Testament Church of God, Cambridge St. James. I'm going to show you that piece right here. Cambridge, you have Rev. Winston Williams and Evangelist Iris Allen, multiple entries that tell us that she was involved with this church. And when I mapped out where this church was, ladies and gentlemen, it was in St. Anne. So again, what do we have a circumstance of? Well, I'm telling you right now, if the next journalist that is in front of her does not begin to ask her questions about this, okay, then we know that everyone is simply a fraud, because this is unbelievably scandalous, okay? It is unbelievably scandalous. I truly believe with everything in me that that picture of Beryl that she used was likely a woman whose name was Beryl. I don't doubt that, but it wasn't her grandma, okay? That wasn't Grandma Beryl. That was likely a grandma. That was likely somebody's grandma who had been working on a farm which was in part owned by her father's family. And similarly, for this Iris Allen and these women who never quite looked affectionate in these photos with Kamala Harris, yeah, I believe that that woman likely worked on that farm for a very long time. And so he had the confidence to take their names and to merge their identities with his true relatives who he does not want to give to the public. So now I am very interested in the true Iris Allen, okay, and who, in fact, her husband is. Maybe Allen was her married name, who knows? But I'm interested in the Allen family because I think this all but proves that she has completely lied about both of these grandparents. Because like I said, I am a geneticist. I don't do genetics, but I've been around. And you just cannot tell me that two Negro blacks created a white Irish-looking woman and an even whiter woman who we have still yet to find.
Yeah, so that is that. I mean, the tangled web that Kamala has weaved. I mean, the lies are piling on top of the lies. I mean, it's just unreal. Just to recap what we just learned today. Okay, so we know that Kamala Harris has plagiarized and published articles and books. So that's two lies, and nobody's talking about it. Not the mainstream media. You got some posts out there, New York Post and some other smaller news outlets that they're talking about it, but not. No, CNN is not going to cover it or anything like that. Then we know she fabricated the grandma, but we thought that, okay, maybe these names were real, but as we saw, Candance uncovered that, yeah, the names wasn't real. Parts of it, he gave a partially truth to his story. Kamala gave a partial truth to her story. The people are not the people. The names may be the people, but then they're hiding some other parts of their history or their heritage. Like I said in, I think it was episode maybe 87 or something like that, she revealed that she knows one of the grandmas was named Nora Iris Allen. And so they're just lying about the heritage, and Candance Owens found out that the heritage of some of the Allen family is actually Jewish, okay? And Candance Owens is for sure that this Nora Allen is the actual grandmother of, or great-grandmother of Kamala Harris. Okay, we know her heritage is not black. Yes, of color, because we know she's Hindu or Indian. And yeah, if you are an Indian, you do have some Indians that are darker than the darkest African, So that wouldn't be surprised to me how Kamala Harris, she's fair-skinned and she could tan well. It's not surprising. But why did you lie about being, number one, Jewish? Okay. Why did you lie about being black? Okay, so she's lying about the names and the people. Is you just, your whole heritage is, okay, we could say, some people are not proud of who they are, but why lie about it? Why lie about that type of thing to secure the black vote? And then on top of that, you didn't really secure the black vote because Joe Biden had more black people in his corner than you, which is pretty sad. Pretty sad. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. Let me just get to some of your comments before I get off. I see Natural Beauty, Candance Owens and Judge Joe Brown are telling all of her shady background, and I'm here for every bit of it. Yes, don't forget to unmute myself. I'm good about that. I've been trying to do the unmute. Okay, Sandy, Larry is saying, did someone scare her? Probably. Maybe so. This is why okay, you lied about all this stuff. This is really despicable. This is why, okay, if that doesn't really concern you, it should concern you that, okay, someone is controlling Kamala. Someone, when she gets in the White House, who is actually making the decisions? Because Kamala Harris will not be making the decisions, because it's like, you're telling us so much things and so many lies. What do they have on you? Why are they telling you to lie? If you're saying, oh, I gotta lie, who is telling you that you need to lie? And then you're trying to keep up with the lie. You're publishing books and, try to erase your time in America or in Canada. Like I said, if you look up Kamala Devi Harris and you don't have any information on her besides when she popped up on the scene, and she decided to go to this law school. Remember, I shared that with you. So she decided that, or her parents decided, mom decided, oh, you got to be marginalized. And so she took some scholarship from somebody and she went to school under this a DEI program. And they were saying back then, in this particular program, you couldn't pass. I mean, they had a 50% passing rate. In the based, and compared to the other school or the other program, the regular program, they had an 80% passing rate. So we know she's a DEI, so she's DEI throughout her career. Okay, so Sandy Rodriguez is a wonderful job, Lady C. Thank you. Or are you talking about Candace? I'm not for sure. Chawanne, God help you and Candace. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself, okay? And you, AKA, thought still gonna vote for Kamala Harris, my off. I see something, white men didn't allow women to vote, okay? Natural beauty, all of these lies for black votes is still ain't working for her. I just you just totally wasted a lie. You could have wasted it on something else because now black people ain't even vote for you. It's just a shame. Carrington is saying, that's so disrespectful and disgusting. It is not even funny. My father and father was dead before he was born. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like a normal thing that people go through. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But like I said, if you're trying to hide part of your heritage, maybe that's what you do. And then I can't say, okay, I'm Jewish. Okay, I'm just saying, for example, I'm Jewish. I'm not proud of that, maybe. But are we saying that something in her bloodline did some heinous things or terrible things? Maybe so. Maybe that's why they're trying to hide it from the public. King's on live. So she's been lying and taking pics to lie her youth. Yeah, lying about her youth, yes. But Kamala would do something so disgusting and disrespectful. She is done. I'm Kamala's real grandma. No, but you always say something crazy. Mark is saying, Chawanne, people just don't want to hear the truth. They are extremely indoctrinated and stupid, in my opinion. Two intelligent women telling the truth. I'm calling out the liar. God help you. Yeah, it's like, I think, this reminds me, like the public right now reminds me of a person that's married and they asked their husband, are you cheating on me? And he continues to lie. And so she gets all upset like, oh, why aren't you telling me the truth? And then when he starts telling her the truth, she's all distraught and stuff like that. So I guess to save people's feelings, you're going to lie? Not for sure. Well, you wanted me to tell you the truth, but now look at you, your feelings are hurt. Maybe that's what she's trying to do, save people's feelings. I'm not for sure. And then, of course, win the presidency. Okay, so you guys, no, what are you gonna say? Oh no, hold on for a second. I love my ad block. I'm watching this like the Michael Jackson eating popcorn. Okay, you guys, that was it for our live stream. Tomorrow, tune in for my morning show, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Chawanne Burns 2.0 for Unpopular Opinion Podcast. And Kenneth, my son, wants to say something. I hope it's not crazy.
Hey guys, I just want to say something.
And don't say it in my ear. Okay, you don't need to say that. Thank you, Cannon. He wants everybody to say to understand Kamala Harris is a big liar. Okay, but you guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'm sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.